In the first video in this series, Introduction to the Built Environment, you learned about the many layers of the built environment. Now, let's talk about why focusing on the built environment matters. Our environment significantly impacts our daily lives and our overall well-being as a community. From climate change to health concerns to social injustices, the impact of the built environment is immense. Climate change is an urgent existential issue, and the built environment is both a significant contributor and an opportunity to address this issue. 8% of Oregon's consumption-based emissions each year are from the materials we use to construct our buildings. These emissions are called embodied carbon, which includes all of the greenhouse gas emissions that occur in order to make, use, and dispose of the materials. It is important for us to address these emissions because the climate crisis is a global problem. A consumption-based emissions inventory allows us to look beyond our borders and understand the impacts and harms we are causing elsewhere. For Oregon, approximately 2/3 of our emissions happen in other parts of the United States or around the world because facilities in these locations are producing the materials and products we need and use to construct our built environment. The impacts in these locations don't stop at emissions. Manufacturing processes for products we use can also damage the environment and disrupt ecosystems, thus altering how and where people live and making this an environmental justice issue as well. The built environment also has a significant impact on our health. Pollution to the air, water, and land that can occur from making building materials can impact our health through exposure to toxics in materials and vulnerability to natural disasters. Building materials, furniture, and equipment often contain toxic materials and chemicals of concern that can cause significant health issues such as cancer, asthma, brain and nervous system damage, and developmental disorders. Without knowing, people can be exposed to these impacts throughout the life cycle of a material or product. This includes workers who are extracting and processing the material, builders who are building with the materials, building occupants who are using the building, and workers who are processing the material at the end of its life. Additional health impacts can include vulnerability during natural or man-made disasters such as earthquakes and wildfire smoke, and extreme heat and cold events. Many homes and other buildings in Oregon are leaky, do not have air conditioning, are not built to current structural code, or are not equipped with high-performance filtration systems, and our houseless neighbors and those who work outdoors are at extreme risk. In addition, the built environment plays a role in the structural inequities that add to the burdens of the climate and health crises, environmental injustice, and economic opportunities for Black, Indigenous, and people of color, people with low income, rural, and other frontline communities. For example, redlining. The discriminatory race-based home loan practices shaped urban areas and outcomes in the United States, including Oregon, for nearly a century. The system made it difficult or impossible for people of color to get loans for home purchases or improvements. These practices also led to disinvestment in the redline neighborhoods, siting of harmful industrial uses near these communities, and forced displacement for development of new roads and services. The physical, social, and economic impacts created by redlining remain very much visible today. For example, formerly redlined neighborhoods often have fewer sidewalks and green spaces. As a result, they are hotter than nearby neighborhoods. For people with low incomes or renters, these issues may be compounded if they aren't able to cool their homes. Additionally, construction is the #1 industrial sector at risk of forced labor. Forced labor is work by a person who has not voluntarily offered themselves. Typically, the person has been threatened or coerced. These are just a few of the many impacts and injustices that occur in the creation of Oregon's built environment. These impacts occur in Oregon, in the United States, and around the world. To be better stewards for the earth and to enhance the well-being of our communities, near and far, it is crucial that we prioritize addressing these issues. To learn more about the role of the Department of Environmental Quality, or DEQ, in this work, watch the next video in the series, Built Environment at DEQ.